Hello and welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando every Monday at 8 o'clock to talk everything Orlando Pride. I am your host, John Rollins, and I'm here with my co host and friend, Luis Carlos Pineda. Luis, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for everybody that's watching. About 10 people live right now. Everybody joining. Make sure that if you're on X, make sure that you subscribe and follow our X account, as well as you can share the video. And also, if you're on YouTube, make sure you drop your comment. We're going to be talking about today the Pride International duty. So, everything that happened with some of the Pride players that were playing for home and country as well. We're going to be talking about Houston at home and score predictions. So, John, you want to start talking about the national team, which um, we could share some of the footage. I do have some of it.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
U.S. soccer. So,
Kerry Abello, of course, and Emily Sams both called up. The U.S. women's national team played one of their friendlies against China already. Emily Sams came off the bench in that one. Kerry Abello has not yet appeared. USA women's national team won 3-0, a very good performance. China, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. They try to play, open game, which nice, but also this is U.S. women's national team, and it just kind of opened things up, and U.S. Put them to the sword. A very good performance. Hopefully, Kerry Abello will be getting the start on Tuesday at 8 o'clock as they play Jamaica in the next friendly of this window. A lot of pundits I know Louise talking about that potentially happening. It would be shocking to me if she doesn't get any minutes after being called up here. I hope to see Emily Sams and Kerry Abello both starting against Jamaica.
um, it'll piss me off if that happens. To be honest with you, because
I think it's very frustrating for
yeah,
sure.
because Crystal Dunn looked tired in this game against
I think
China.
that was my thing too. Is like, what did we
Yeah.
learn from Crystal Dunn being at left back? We know she
She
can kill it at left back, and like there, that's the thing. I think she was playing some of the veterans in this game against China, and like Lindsay Heaps and like Emily Sana, and I feel like yes, it's nice that they're there and they're in the squad and all that stuff, but these friendlies really like use the other players, get them other chances for the likes of like yes, our players, but also like I would have liked to see Ali Setner get more minutes in this one and other players like that need time. I don't know what we learn, Luis, from my opinion, from having Crystal Dunn play left back against China when we know she's like one of the best left backs you could have out there when she's on her game. So I don't think we gleaned anything from that, and I would have liked to see Carrie at least come on. So she has to start for sure.
you play Lily Johannes, 17-year-old. You played as an eight, as a deep line playmaker, and I mean she did pretty good. Alisa Thompson, obviously,
Yeah,
and then and
Michelle
again,
Pimper and also
yeah, every part
Patterson getting their
Patterson.
getting their chances.
Yeah, I mean, I just like you. I mean, these are friendlies that not only you get to show the beautiful jersey that your beautiful jersey that the national team has now, but you got to see some of these new faces, proving themselves. Now, we already know what Crystal Dunn could give you, and I mean, she just didn't look very. I mean, she was tired. Now, also they did this whole thing about Lula Banta, like oh, it's her first game. So hopefully they do the same thing with Carrie, because Carrie is definitely a story, behind her reaching national team. I mean, this is the dream of a lifetime for her, and she's had not only she was a champion last season, but she comes from a 2023 season that was very consistent also. So, I feel like, she got a little shafted there, in my opinion. So hopefully we see her more against Jamaica.
One would hope, Luis. One would hope. Let's move on from that. I feel like we've talked enough about the U.S. national team. There's plenty of content out there. If anyone wants to go check out the U.S. national team stuff
For
to
sure.
learn more about it, but really we're just waiting for Kerry and Emily to get more minutes. I think both of them starting this next game would be what I'm looking for. Definitely Kerry to start at a bare minimum. Emily, I believe, should also get a start, having only she did get off the bench as a sub. But I was disappointed for her not to be starting alongside Naomi Gurmer. I want to see that combination and that partnership. I honestly think that could be our best center back partnership for the U.S. women's national team. No bias aside, I think they are two of the best center backs in the
Yeah.
world right now. So why not see them? Davidson is very good. Sonnet is very good. Don't get me wrong. But I want to see more time for Emily Sams and Kerry. We can beat this drum as long for a long time. But against Jamaica, Luis, it's a perfect opportunity to get. They're probably going to sit deeply, have those lines of four, and kind of pack players behind the ball. That's where you need a strong attacking wing back. And that's what Kerry can bring you, getting up that left side, getting on the overlap, doing everything up and down that left flank. So I really want to see her get some chances and some minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, it's gonna be, in my opinion, maybe this was the game for the veterans, and maybe the coach is going to put some of the young starlets and the new faces to play now. Maybe because it's going to be more of a physically demanding game because it is Jamaica, and they have players in better leagues than China. With all due respect, obviously to China, but it's just it's the truth. It's a better competition. So maybe that's where Kerry is going to hopefully excel. Now look at that right there, like
Yeah.
now Chelsea striker, obviously,
Kat
so happy about
Macario,
her.
yeah, good to see her back
Oh
in
man,
playing
I will
well
love.
for the U.S.
I
national
will
team.
I will love her. Can you imagine her and Banda together?
Oh, maybe one day, one could dream.
Man, can
Should we
only
move on,
dream.
Luis? Let's talk about England for a second.
England.
Yes, I want to talk about England. Anna Morehouse once again has been called up. England won 6-0 against Portugal
Ooh.
in a great game. Aggie Beaver Jones got a hat trick. Bronze, Kelly Mead, it was all the stars. Um, an interesting thing that's happened. Obviously, Anna has not played any minutes officially yet for the U.S. women's national team. Sorry, the English women's national team. Um, she has been called up, but she's not actually played any minutes. It's difficult as a goalkeeper for sure. One thing that now helps her case is that Mary Earps has officially retired and will not be playing for the England women's national team anymore. And Hampton is the one that's currently getting a lot of the minutes there, but potentially Anna Morehouse might have a shot. She's competing against Kiara Keating of Man City, so there's some competition for that place. But the one that's been holding on to that spot for a long time, Mary Ups, is officially moving on from the national team scene. So there's an opportunity here for Anna maybe to hopefully get an actual start. They do have another national team game on Tuesday. They play Spain in a very important match.
That's gonna be a phenomenal
I
game
imagine Hampton's going to get in again. I would be
for sure.
shocked if Anna gets a shot there.
That'll be
Um,
amazing though.
but I don't think it rules it out in the future. I really do think like it's similar with the U.S. women's national team right now and what's going on with that. When a long established goalkeeper moves on, Luis, there's opportunity there. So maybe Anna at some point will get an actual game, but it's good to see that she's consistently getting called up for such a respectable women's national team that is the Lionesses. Yeah, that's going to be a key game for them in the Nations League as they take on Spain, an enemy we know well, and one that if we don't win, we're not going to go through to the semifinal stage of the Nations League. So I would advise everybody if you have time on Tuesday during lunch at 1 o'clock, tomorrow. Put that
No,
on.
I'll watch it. I'll be
Put that
watching
on
it.
for 30 minutes because Spain England will be a tight and
Yeah.
interesting game.
It-
The other national team players that have been out there, Marta and Angelina for Brazil.
yeah.
They played on Friday, May 30th against Japan. I believe that's right, Luis. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, they play against Japan,
Yes, they played
and
against Japan. They beat them 3-1. Is
yeah,
that correct?
yeah. So they beat them, no, 2-0.
2-0. I'm confused because
Yeah,
I'm saying 3-1
and
here.
I believe it. Let me see. Brazil, Japan. I think
I
it's.
saw in the Austin David's article he says 2-0.
Well,
But
right
then
now,
but then what I'm seeing is 3-1.
right now they're playing a friendly.
Oh, okay, they're playing right now as well.
Yeah,
Got it.
so they're playing right now. So
Yes, you're right.
yeah,
They
so they're
are.
playing right now, and they're it's a draw right now so far. 11 shots in 61 minutes. 11 shots for Brazil, and actually Marta, it was and Angelina were starters.
Yes, and Marta's um very good. They're both playing. They both played the last game as well, I believe.
Yep.
So
Well, I think Marta has some minutes. She was subbed out.
yeah,
But
she was in and came out.
No, yeah, she was subbed out for Angelina. Angelina came in, and actually Angelina had the armband, which was pretty impressive.
So
Yeah,
very good for Brazil. They are playing Jamaica as we speak, right, Luis?
no,
Today? Sorry,
Japan.
tomorrow. Um, my apologies. They're playing Japan. U.S. women's national team is playing Jamaica
Yeah, mhm.
tomorrow. Not to confuse you all. So Marta and Angelina on Brazilian duty, performing well. There was no goals by them, right? I don't believe.
No, but I wanted to show you.
You got a highlight for us?
I wanted to show you the respect that. I mean, this made news in Brazil. Angelina was the captain. Obviously, she comes from
Yeah.
being a champ, and I think they really believe in her. And I mean, she's a phenomenal player. But just look at the.
E a Luane com a 19. Daqui a pouco vai subir a placa, mas ó, a Angelina tá vindo aqui, Luiz, entregar a abraçadeira de capitã.
No, he's like, and then Marta's like, no, you keep it. You're the captain.
Entregar a abraçadeira de capitã pra Marta, que tá entrando em campo nesse momento.
You know? And when they asked, it was a pride reunion right there.
You got Adriana as well standing
Yeah,
on the bench.
when they asked Angelina, why do you do that? And she's like, well, Marta, she's always our captain. I mean, wherever she is, she's always our captain. She's like, she's the best player in the world. Like she inspired all of us. So she's our captain. So that's why she did it. Now, the cool thing is, like, you see how Marta kind of say, hey, no, you're the captain, like, you shine. It's not really my time to shine right now. I'm subbing in. And Angelina said, no, you are the captain, so that right there speaks super highly on how much respect Marta gets worldwide, but also from her not only pride teammates, which Angelina's pride teammate, but just in the national team level. Like that and in Brazil, for example, Marta, and again, I'm not like, just so you guys understand, Marta's at the level at in popularity, or even a little more than Vinicius Jr. and like this top level. Like she is like this, like hand in hand, like a Ronaldinho and a Ronaldo Nazario. Like she's a legend there, a living legend. And over there in Brazil, they treat her as such. So it was cool to see that. Obviously, the goals were from Caroline, which she's doing tremendous. I mean, she's a beast. I mean, again, it's another player that I would love to to see wearing the pride colors at some point. But Caroline played tremendous game. And yeah, I mean, Brazil is always, they're doing really good.
Yeah. So good performances there from our two Brazilians. Then another player that didn't play, but their team won, Zara Shavashi. We talked about getting the call up for the Canadian national team. They played on Saturday at 3:00 against Haiti. and they beat Haiti 4-1. Zara did not get off the bench for that one, but hopefully she might get some minutes as they play Haiti again on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. based on the 4-1 result. And I think, as we can imagine, Luis, the setup in Haiti is probably not the best. The national team is probably pretty weak. It could definitely be an opportunity for Zara to get on the field and get that debut for the Canadian team proper, and hopefully start her career there, because she's been playing well when she does get on for the Pride. And I feel like there's a real changing of the guard in the Canadian national team, where there's like quite a few older players that are retiring. So maybe she can have her opportunity to get in that lineup. So hopefully Zara will get some minutes tomorrow as they play Haiti again. And then the final three we got to talk about, Luis, of course, the Zambians, Barbra, Grace, and Priska, all went away for Zambia to play in international friendlies. The first one, Luis, 1-1 against Botswana. I actually have the
You have the video. It was
I
a
have
beautiful goal.
the goal here. The
Oh
video
wow!
I
How do you
found.
get that?
I managed to find a video of Barbara's goal, because
Wow!
even from all the way over here, we must find a way to
Wow!
watch
Look at that, John.
the bit of goal. So here is the goal from Barbra.
Oh, little tapping right there. Is that Kunda Jandi who shot the ball?
I can't quite tell. It's a very grainy video, and
Right.
I guess it's
Maybe with a knife.
I don't know if it's what they're speaking. I think it sounds French to me, but it could be like
Yeah.
any of the African languages. So as you can see here, the ball comes across down the right, and then the ball goes back and kind of across. There's, I think, is that Grace at one point? I couldn't tell. I don't know if Grace and Priska started in this one.
I know Priska had minutes. But
I don't know exactly, but not sure who this is on the outside. Has a good attempt, saved by the keeper, but they just push it directly in front of Barbra, who is never going to miss from there, and Barbra just buries it in the back of the net. It was 1-1 against Botswana. I saw a lot of comments, Luis, saying they got lucky from the Zambian fans. I feel like I don't know much about the Botswana national team, but I imagine the Zambian national team is better, and perhaps significantly better. So maybe a disappointing result for some of these, even though it's a friendly, for some of the Zambian fans. If you're a Zambian national team fan, about Barbra Banda fan, we know we got a lot of Zambians that watch the Pride Pod. Let us know your thoughts on this game against Botswana. Were you disappointed with that, and what are your expectations for the next one, Luis, as they play South Africa tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. our time? So I'm interested to see what the vibe is, but I feel like we probably should have beaten this Botswana team by more if you look at the roster that the Zambian Copper Queens have.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, when you are comfortable, you go back home, you see your friends, your family, you see, how your people are doing, and then some friends of yours come home. They say, "Hey, man, let's have some little food here and there," and and it kind of becomes like a quasi national team / vacation. Not to say that this is what happened here, but what I'm trying to say is that you get comfortable. You come from the stress from playing abroad in a really tough league, and now Botswana also played very physical. I do want to say they're a really good team. They press hard. They play with a lot of heart. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Zambia had the chances to put this away at least 4-5-0.
Yeah, I mean, according to Google, Botswana are ranked 153rd in the world, and Zambia are ranked 64th in the world.
Okay.
So
Where's Peru?
Zambia definitely a lot higher than Botswana. So I don't know where the women's Peruvian national team ranks.
Probably like dead last. But for sure, Zambia should have put this game away. I mean, Kundajandi, Banda, or it was just a matter of putting this game away in the beginning minutes of the game and then just kind of rest. Now South Africa, is it South Africa they're going to be playing against?
Yeah, South Africa tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yeah, they're going to be. Are they going to be playing in Zambia or in South Africa?
Let's see. I mean, I think in South Africa.
Okay, well,
they're listed as the away team, so.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa, be careful. There's a lot of political tension happening in that country right now. But it's a tougher competition than Botswana. So, they gotta be they gotta be able to win this one too. So
Peru women's national team ranked 77th, Luis. So not too far behind the Zambia national team. There you go.
Wow.
That is all of our international call-ups and all the players. We're about halfway through. Obviously, there's a lot of games that will be played tomorrow and today as we speak. So go check out your players. All of them, Luis, will be back before Friday, I hope, as we play Houston Dash.
Yeah, they're going to be playing the Houston Dash. This is a team that we're going to be faced on, and it's going to be a team that we need to beat. It's a team that we need to beat. We faced them twice in 2024. We won 1-0 in Houston on August 23rd with Summer Yates scoring in the 67th minute. And then September 28th, we beat them 3-1 in Orlando. And we extended our yet unbeaten streak record at that time to 23 games. Right now, Houston, this is throughout the NWSL. So the record of Houston right now is winning the record of head-to-heads. 11 wins, 7 draws, and 2 losses. But Orlando obviously has recent dominance on Houston. So, Orlando's form, roster, coaching, everything Orlando right now, it's superior, in my opinion, on paper than Houston Dash. But again, we need to. This is a reset button. This international break. Now let's start on the right foot to keep climbing up the standings. I have high expectations of this game, so hopefully 2 or 3 goals at least. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, if you could put on the screen, I've got the table up here so people can see. Obviously, we are in third now, behind Kansas City Current and San Diego Wave. Only 1 point behind the Wave, who are in second place. And then we're also tied with Washington Spirits, who just moved Jonathan Heraldez. In fact, Luis, I think it's a great time for us to just take a couple minutes. I wanted to get your opinion on that. I know a lot of the Pride fans probably have an opinion on that as well. Jonathan Heraldez come over from Barcelona this time last year to take over the Spirit team, we thought, for a long time, and now has gone back to manage Lyon, one of Michelle Kang's other clubs, and arguably maybe a bigger club. I guess there's a debate around which is the bigger club. What are your thoughts on all that?
Look, be honest with you, I don't like it. And the reason why
you don't like that Michelle Kang did it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand the reason why you change every single aspect of the club, the logo, but you have to respect history. And fans, it's not the US that you can do that. In Europe, it's a little different. It's like, let's say, what do you say now, John, if they change Stoke City's logo and the colors and, like they just, it just doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, there's some type of things that need to remain. and especially French fans are, they've had issues before with, being a little bit of hooligans that, there were no deodorant, so you imagine all of that, that smell too. But be honest with you, that's for starters. But then you take your coach that's motivating this squad that has already a plan for this Washington team that they weren't doing really so hot right now, and you just literally just say, hey, you know what? You're gonna now move to my French club, and we're gonna leave the assistant here. We're gonna give him a chance. So your second playing, you're pretty much saying right there by that move, I feel the Europe project, it's not only more important, but I value it more than the Washington product. And you're kind of picking and choosing between leagues. I feel the NWSL is as competitive, now better, than the French Women's League. This is just my opinion, and I don't know. I feel like moving the guy to play as,
Yeah.
I just think some players are not going to really like that.
Well, I think it's just a lot of that question mark of several things. Was he ever intended to be long term for the Spirit? But there's some people asking, was it a question of him being pulled from Barcelona and going to the Washington Spirit temporarily until going to Lyon because they didn't want to lose him from the opportunity of getting him into the system? There's a lot of questions around it. I don't hate the rebrand. I think I don't mind this logo. I don't like that it's now OL Leones. I think you're right there, Luis. Like, it's kind of changing the name of the club. We see that quite a lot. But when it's an older brand like this and linked to another, long-standing club name and logo, like the actual Olympic Lyon men's team has been, so it's interesting to see what she's doing there. I feel like with the Giraldes, it's just he probably wanted to go back to Europe. He might have been that kind of guy, Luis, that just said, like I like prefer to have my family maybe in Europe, and the opportunity came up for him to go there. We don't know what the situation is. And I feel as much as I would be frustrated if I was a Washington Spirit fan, if you look from a bigger picture, Michelle Kang has put in so much money to the women's sports and what she's done for all of these clubs and how much she's increased their value and everything she's doing for player support and everything else. If she wants to be able to move her pieces around and say, actually, I want to have this manager over here in this club, then she has the right to do that, really. And if Giraldes agrees to that, then that's all fine too. I think it's one of those situations. I feel like we said before, there are clubs in Europe that are perhaps maybe bigger than NWSL clubs, but the league of NWSL is bigger than all of the leagues in Europe, perhaps.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Like,
mean,
if it's hard, I think, for a lot of people to turn down Lyon and how big they are in women's soccer.
I agree with you, but you're changing the identity. So
That part, yeah. I'm just talking
once
about the managerial change is what I'm just talking about.
once you change the identity, it's a new club.
Well, I guess kind of,
Because
yeah.
how are you going to relate all the
Well,
previous
no, they're still
history?
claiming all their titles from before,
Yeah,
right?
but
The
they're a
history
different
of
club,
that.
though. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a different club.
It definitely does say like they're trying to do something. I don't know what they're. It
It
smells
just
of
doesn't
like
make
we're
any
doing
sense.
something.
I mean,
Yeah.
the rebranding may scare away fans.
Yeah, but we're just
You
not
know,
sure whether it's a firm. It was him who wanted to go, or whether she's making it happen, or what it was. But it's just very strange that they brought in this great manager, and there was all this talk about he's going to lead the Spirit to great things, and then it's only a year later, and he's already left. So, an interesting situation there for sure, Luis, and one that I wanted just to touch on for us. Let's talk about the table a little bit more before we go into the review of the Houston Dash. The Spirit, like we just talked about, under new management. Washington sorry, Portland Thorns, Seattle Reign, Angel City take up 5, 6, and 7. Racing Louisville are just sneaking into the playoffs. Gotham all the way down in 9th, Louise. What a fall from grace. North Carolina Courage down in 10th. They arguably should be up better, doing better. Bay FC in 11th. We thought they were going to be more improved. I mean, they've got Kunanji still. They've got some good players, but they haven't really managed to improve from last year too much. Houston Dash, our next opponent, is down in 12th. 13th, you've got Utah Royals. Really, we saw last week what they're doing. And then Chicago, the saddest of them all, only with 4 points down there. Chicago Stars already fired their manager. They're just having a terrible time of it. So, yes, Louise, there's lots of opportunity, like we said, for us to pick up some points. And next opportunity is going to be against the Houston Dash. Let's talk about Houston. What are your initial thoughts on them?
I mean, look, this is a game that we need to win. Some of the strategies I would do for if I was Seb will be obviously control the midfield. I think Haley McCutcheon, Morgan Gottrad need to dominate possession. They need to make sure that they disrupt any Houston's attempts to build under Morgan's husband's new system. Now you have to understand that's going to be key because he's going to have the key. I mean, I don't know if they talk, regarding that, but I mean, they got to be on point. I mean, Morgan and Haley have to be on point. Quick transitions as well. Also, we need to exploit that Ali Watt Banda connection, especially her pace. Essentially when Adriana, people mentioning Adriana also, we don't have an Adriana, but we saw a really good connection between Ali and Banda, and I think that's going to be key to maintain and strike fast. 13 goals in 2024, Barbra Banda. 7 in the first half, 6 in the second last year, and right now top goal scorer in the team. I believe she has 8 goals. This is the type of games she needs to truly shine and finish those chances that Ali, also, Angelina, Marta, Morgan, or Haley are going to create for her. Finish those off so then she can get into the golden boot talk, and I think this is one of those games that Orlando has, to me, I think, the better squad.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're down there for a reason, right? We were perhaps hopeful that maybe they would improve with Morgan's husband Fabrice taking over. I have a lot of respect for Houston Dash. I think, I think they're a good organization. I would like to see them improve. I feel like they've just been perennially bad for a while, and it's hard to get out of that situation, as we know. And it started off, looked a little bit brighter this year, but it's slipping away. And I wanted to see, Luis, if they were up there in any of the stats. They do have a very good defensive stat. I'll give them that. They are leading the league in interceptions per match. So that's something they got going for them. But outside of that, they are nowhere near the top in any of the things. I think probably goals conceded, they're probably one of the worst teams. Let's have a look. See where they land. They are, they're 4th from bottom in goals conceded. So the defense is not really holding up. They're not scoring a lot of goals either. So it's not working on both ends of the field. I do believe they're not they have good possession, Luis, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean,
they're okay with holding the ball. It's something they have going for them. They're actually 4th in the league in possession, so they like to hold the ball.
Evelina Dolgen, we're going to see her again.
Yeah, there's a few ex-Pride. Evelina Dolgen. Yeah, I'm excited to see how she's developed. If she can Obviously, I don't want her to do anything against us, but I would like
Oh,
to. I'd like to see her out there. I'm sure she's going to be smiling and happy to be back.
yeah, she's going. She has something to prove against the Pride, and she's gonna be a nightmare, I believe. We gotta watch out for that. Also, Messiah Bright. 40 shots, 1 goal. We could hold off her, and especially in the set pieces due to her size, it's gonna be important. But they do have some good players, um, that they can disrupt. But again, some of the some of the maybe pinpoints that the Dash could do to disrupt Orlando would be, just sometimes the set pieces. You know what I mean? I believe using the physicality with players like maybe Kennedy, Messiah Bright. That's something that they could cause some damage to Orlando. Also, sometimes Watt may not be having the best game. A little turnover here and there.
Yeah.
And that could also that will consider that a vulnerability. But it's also for them not to maybe get flustered because Orlando's going to press them. They do
Yeah.
that short. They do that press.
I mean that I would say they're probably going to sit and try and
Yeah.
defend, but also they're possession teams, so they're going to want to try and own the ball. I wouldn't try and do that in our house if I was them, because I think we're going to probably also play in possession and try and keep the ball. Patterson did play well for the U.S. national team in the last game against China. She's a bright spark. I do rate Michelle Iozzi. I think she's a good player when she's fit and healthy. They've got a few pieces, Luis, but I think there's a difference in NWSL between teams that you really go, oh, look at all these stars, and we're gonna have to deal with all this. And then I look at a roster like this, and I think there's some attacking threat out there, but a lot of it can be nullified, I feel like, by our very strong defense. And that's what we've got. I mean, Paige Nielsen, Colaprico, there is some talent in there. Like their top goal scorers, Maggie Graham, Avery Patterson's got 2. So, but their top goal scorer, Maggie Graham, only has 3 goals.
Yeah.
It's the attack is not,
It's not
attack
as,
is
it's not as good as our attack.
in all the stats. They're about 4th from bottom, and
Yeah.
in the league, they're about 4th from bottom. So it shows they're producing sort of about what we expected from Houston Dash. That might sound mean, but they got to prove that they're more than what this is and what they've been the last few years.
No, I agree with you, and again, this is a team that again, in the set pieces, in the a really bad turnover, they could punish you for sure. But I mean, an all around well stacked team on paper is the Orlando Pride. Now, this is also these are the type of games that if you really want to start talking about maybe another double, it will be this type of games that Orlando needs to win. Orlando needs to win these type of games to maintain their dominance in the league, and hopefully, why not? Talking about another historic season. You imagine winning 2 doubles back to back? That would be tremendous.
That would be nice. Yeah, we're by no means out of it. I know, like we talked
Yeah.
about this before, but the good bounce back. We are 5 points away from the top of the table with Casey Current. I'd also like to say that Casey Currents are going to have to play in their next fixtures. They are going to have to play some, like, I don't want to say like more difficult teams, but it's similar to us where they've got winnable games. So we've got to win our games and hope that they make some mistakes, and then we eventually meet up against them again, as well as the other teams around us that could get better, the Wave, etc. But we have to, Luis, beat teams like Houston Dash at home. We cannot be drawing to them. We cannot be losing to them if we want to maintain the race for the top of the table.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be interesting this game. Hopefully, it's gonna be a win. And I commend everybody to go ahead and look for a pride win. Now, you have to understand Diana Ordóñez, which was the striker from the Dash. She was signed not too long ago to Tigres. It was a done deal. $90,000. What's her fee? So Dash right now are kind of, she was one of the Mexican national team starlets, and now she's back home with Tigres. So that's something to take into consideration. So probably more minutes for Messiah Bride, John, which is probably good for us.
Yeah. You want to give us your score prediction for this one?
Yeah, for sure. Look,
I want to say as well on the player availability, the only change is Julie is back, but she was back for the last game anyway. So Rafa is still out per last game with thigh. So yeah, and the rest we know.
It's gonna be I'm gonna maintain my. I'm gonna do 4-0 Orlando.
I almost put that in for.
You almost put that in. Was that your pick? You're muted.
So I almost put it in for you.
Oh.
Yeah, because I felt like, well, also me too. I just felt like 4-0.
Okay.
But I don't want to pick the exact same as you. I'm gonna go. Let's go 3-0.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like a 3-0. We're due a clean sheet. I think the Houston Dash is definitely an option to get a clean sheet.
Yeah. 100%.
So the real score against the Utah Royals was what, 3-1? We were close between the two of us. I said 2-1. You said 3-0. It was 3-1.
Yeah,
so,
we were very close.
Knowing this, it'll be like 4-1 or something. We won't get it right exactly, but we'll be close again. Houston Dash coming into town on Friday night, Luis.
Yeah, Houston Dash coming into town to play against the Pride. And, I commend everybody to come and watch. I think it's going to be an exciting game. And it's going to be a phenomenal game. I look forward to it.
That's a pretty short pod for us. One last thing I want to just say briefly, Luis, and if you wouldn't mind putting this up for me, I want to give a shout out to both Tom Sermani and Austin David. This is a great article that Austin wrote all about. If you don't know, Tom Sermani, the first ever Pride coach. So go on the club website, go read this article all about Tom, who is a wonderful, wonderful man and a great human being. And was in town here with the Australian national team, and Austin wrote a piece all about what it was like in those early days of the Pride. So I advise everybody to go read it because it's a really good read and gives you an insight about how a great guy Tom is. I'm sure, Luis, you remember from your early days of Pride coverage and what a nice man he is. And he always had a time of day for everybody. So that filled me with some nostalgia, and I just want to give a shout out to that. So
yeah, I'm sure. Also, I think the only player that will remember him will be Pickett. Maybe.
Yeah, Carson was there. I mean, Marta came along when he was still
Marta.
there. Yeah.
I remember, those, so I think he was a very influential coach for not only the Pride in its beginnings, but also what he's achieved in his career. I think for women's sports, he betted on women's sports, and look how far not only the organization has grown, but also the league, and also, the national teams now on a bigger stage, more people tuning in, more people more engaged. So it's phenomenal. So thank you, Tom.
Wonderful stuff. Alrighty. Well, that's everything from today's episode, Luis. This is a short one.
Yep.
Just previewing Houston Dash as we also wrap up the international break.
Yeah, for sure. Stay tuned for more Loud and Proud Orlando on all our socials. We're literally every Monday at 8 o'clock for the Pride Pod. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as LP_podcast, or Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you, John. Thanks to everybody that watch and listen today. And Vamos Pride.
Vamos Pride.
Have a good one, guys.